Shalom. Now we're going to be concluding the series Darkness Descending. And if you haven't watched part 1 to part 3, I'd like you to go watch them so that you can put part 4, Darkness Descending, in its right perspective. Now, we're not only going to be concluding Darkness Descending, we're going to be introducing a new theme, which is righteousness arising in Nigeria, so that the people who have an ear can have an understanding of what God is saying, not only to the church, but also to the Nigerian nation. Now, they say that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And it will seem as if a generation has arisen in Nigeria, a whole generation that has completely forgotten the reason why a special Independence Bible was launched on the 1st of October in 1960. This is something we need to bring back. Look, now that corruption has been officially enthroned over the nation of Nigeria, it has to be made clear that it will bring a harvest that none of us will be able to handle if we allow this narrative to run all the way through. Now, for those of you who are hoping for magic, we need to let you know something categorically, that the Almighty God, when He designed life in such a way that, listen to this, both failure on any level, national or personal, and success are predictable. Just as, listen to this, the fruit of unrighteousness and the fruit of righteousness, and talking about darkness itself and light, are results. They are not products of chance or buying lottery tickets. And you remember that I said something to you that Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself is merely a pawn in a much larger spiritual construct. And I said it is ironic that the church has to raise prayers to protect his life, because he himself is totally unaware that he is involved in a larger and much darker spiritual narrative than meets the eye. Now, a few days after the release of Darkness Descending parts 1 to 3, El-Rufai, Nasiru El-Rufai, who I mentioned in that prophetic briefing, decided to open up to the entire nation, and everybody was shocked by the utterances that he was making in Kaduna State.
Abinda muka samu muka yi a Kaduna yanzu an yi shi a ƙasa gaba daya. Babu wani makaryaci da zai zo ya ce zai fito ya ce shi zai yi siyasa na Kiristanci ya ci zaɓe.
Now, this is what we are forgetting. On the 25th of the month of June in the year 2021, I wrote a piece titled Kaduna and the Prophetic Destiny of Nigeria. It was published. Look, the unprecedented amount of bloodshed that has been poured in Kaduna under the MMT of El-Rufai is merely a pointer to what is ahead of the Nigerian nation. Now, there's a twist to that whole story that Nigerians need to understand so we can put a stop to all this confusion that's flying all over the whole place. For those of you who are very discerning, you're going to realize that what El-Rufai was doing is extremely tactical. In reality, El-Rufai is pleading for his own life to be spared in the days ahead.
To da haka ne za a samu zaman lafiya a ƙasar nan. To shi ma ka gani aka sake aka ƙara sai komi sai ya.
His open admission of the Islamization agenda is merely a tactical move. You see, Pastor Larry, what are you talking about? Now listen to this. He was sending a coded message, and what we need to understand is that there are two wolves in the Nigerian narrative. two wolves and a lamb. And the two wolves have been quarreling and fighting each other over who is going to eat the lamb. Who is the lamb? The Nigerian nation. Who are the two wolves? The Fulani militia on one hand and the Boko Haram on the other. But behind the two wolves who have an Islamization agenda, there stands the ISWAP, and they have a supremacist agenda, and they are the real threat, and they are the ones who have been either backing Boko Haram, defunding them, and then later backing the Fulani militia, and now have started defunding them again for one simple reason. Now, Nigerians need to know this. It is true that the Fulani and the Boko Haram, which is dominated by Kanuris in its leadership, have actually been killing each other in northern Nigeria in different locations. Find out from your friends. Why? Each one of them is looking for the approval of ISWAP to be the one known as the conqueror of Nigeria. Now that the Kanuris, the Boko Haram, have a Boko Haram promoter and has been positioned just one heartbeat away from the seat of the president of that, place of honor, the Nigerian presidency. Listen to this. The Fulani know that the tide has turned. And the moment, watch this, if we allow this, the moment Bola Ahmed Tinubu is neutralized, the Kanuri-dominated Boko Haram are going to unleash something else on the Fulani militia, because they're not going to tolerate them as rivals in what they hope is a new arrangement in the days ahead. So they're not just going to launch a genocide against the rest of the whole nation, but there's going to be infighting on that end. Now, this is the truth. President Muhammad Buhari, who is of, a mixed parentage, but has been more Fulani than the Fulani, already has a haven in Niger. And if anything happens, it's going to be protected in Niger. But you see, for Nasiru El-Rufai, he has stepped on many toes. And so what the guy is really doing right now is that he's just playing to the gallery while sending a message. Why? To the clerics. He knows that the imams and the clerics are going to have a role to play in the future arrangement that is coming. A lot more authority is going to be going into their hands if this narrative is allowed to go to fruition. And he knows that the power of life and death is going to be in their hands. And so what is he doing? He is pleading ahead that they should not kill him. That's one. Secondly, he's stating a case for himself in the hope that in the future that they want to come in as the Nigerian future, a role and a place of honor can be created for him. And that's why he threw off all caution and in a tactical way opened up to show his credentials as being one of those who defeated Christianity, who ignored religious freedoms, and with a coded message showed them that the bloodshed, the mopping up in Kaduna has not been a coincidence, but that he is the mastermind who needs to be given credit for what he has done.